All right, let's talk about privacy issues. My life is none of your business. My life is none of your business. Folks, if you have this attitude, you're about to do something stupid. Okay? Your life, whether you like it or not as an educator, is everyone's business. Everyone's business, especially members of the good and respectable community. You're put on a pedestal higher than any other profession other than the priesthood and the ministry. You're right up there with them. They expect you to be of the highest caliber and the highest behavior. Okay? So here's some examples of privacy rights. I'm not married, but living with someone. Can I be terminated for my lifestyle choice? Whoa. Can you be terminated because you live with someone? Yes. No. Here's the correct answer. Yes, if your lifestyle is defined as immoral. And what's immoral? Here's the catch. Immoral is defined as being by the good and respectable members of the community. Or if your lifestyle choice interferes with the educational progress or safety of the students. So if the members of your community think that your behavior is immoral, then it is. Well, how do you define immoral? Well, it's actually defined in law. But I like to use this quote. I think it's attributed to Justice Potter. I think that's who the Supreme Court Justice was, about pornography. How you define pornography. And I use this to illustrate what's immoral. Justice Potter said, I know it when I see it. So, in terms of your community, they know immorality when they see it. Well, I don't think it's immoral. If they do, it is. And if it reaches a point that whatever your actions are outside of school begin to interfere, students are talking about it, parents are talking about it, you're losing control in the classroom because all they're talking about is this, you can be terminated. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Now, in this day and age, living with someone, give me a break, Swanson. Yes, even in this day and age. Will it happen? Probably not, but it has happened recently, and individuals have been terminated for their lifestyle choice. Now, I'm not here to preach to you about what you should or should not do. I just want to make you aware of the law, what the law stipulates, okay? All right. Can I be dismissed for my sexual orientation? Yes. No. The correct answer in the state of Texas is yes. If the orientation is proven to interfere with the progress, the educational program, the safety of students. A recent incident in the state of Texas was in Karnak, Texas, in far east Texas, in the Piney Woods. All right? And it involved a math teacher. I believe she was a math teacher, but she was also the head basketball coach, the girls' basketball coach, had taken the girls to state on numerous occasions. Actually won the state tournament. Outstanding teacher, outstanding coach. And she was terminated for her sexual orientation. She was terminated for her sexual orientation. And this has been widely documented in the state. Whether we agree or disagree with this, this is the law. Okay? Agree or disagree, this is the law. If you want to follow up on that, it was in Texas Monthly. It has the most bizarre title for the article. She's here, she's queer, she's fired. That's the title of the article. And it's a sad story. This is an excellent educator, but because of her sexual orientation, she was terminated. And it was done legally. Okay? Again, whether we agree or disagree. Who do you think took up for her more than anyone else in that community?
Her students and their parents.
No. Most of them turned against her.
The ministry.
A minister did. Yeah. Actually, a Baptist minister took up for her. Okay? Sad. Karen.
Okay, I wanted you to bring that up. And as far as, number one, as far as the headline in the Texas Monthly, come on, you know these Austin guys, they're going to say something like that.
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay? All right. But I think a lot of it is the community.
Mhm.
In
That's
other
right.
words, if she had not been in East Texas, but let's say she'd been in Georgetown,
Yeah,
right outside Austin.
Not a
things
problem, chances are.
A lot more
yeah.
liberal.
Absolutely.
Okay, then it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So it's legal, but it's more in the hands, like a whole lot of stuff, with the school district and the community.
It's associated, it's your sexual orientation in the state of Texas. It can get you terminated. That's the law. Now, a lot of that depends on, obviously, the good and respectable members of the community. And Dr. Awalt's comment is absolutely correct. Georgetown, Austin, very liberal, probably no big deal. Okay? Out here, probably no big deal. It's, you know, if you're an effective teacher, you're an effective teacher. But can I make this my business? As your administrator, as your community member, can I make your sexual orientation my business? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Okay? Whether we agree or disagree with that, that's the law.
What is her next step is what I wonder as an educator. Would she go to another one where she's thinking of actually, she's pretty much on a shaky foundation wherever she goes?
And Ricardo, to be perfectly honest with you, I can't answer that question. That's probably associated with, I just don't remember. The article may address that she went somewhere else. I just don't recall. She lived with a school bus driver, a female school bus driver, paraprofessional. You know, and you know, to me that sounds, the whole thing sounds crazy, but it happened. It happened. Does that make sense? But just because I think it's crazy doesn't mean that what I perceive to not necessarily be moral or immoral is what someone else perceives it. Again, I know immorality when I see it. Like Justice Potter said about pornography. Yes.
Did they fire the bus driver as well? Or was
Yes, yeah, both of them lost their jobs.
Wow.
And they did it legally, and nothing could be done about it. They were terminated in accordance to the law. So again, I just make these points to you. You need to know the law. Your life is, in your lifestyle is everyone's business. Give you another example. Worked with an outstanding science teacher. He was also head coach at a high school. Worked with him. Loved him. We interacted with him and his family, but he had a drinking problem. And as years progressed, his drinking problem became worse. And there's probably a variety of reasons why. I don't know exactly why, but I, in my own mind, can have an idea as to why. But nevertheless, it became worse to one Sunday morning. He was in the parking lot of the local HEB. You know what HEB is? Grocery store, supermarket in Portland, Texas. Drunk on his rum. Drunk on his rum. Stumbling around. He was terminated. He was terminated the next morning. Monday morning, he was gone. Okay. Now, in this day and age, that's back in the 90s, today, what must districts do by law for him? Provide him help. Provide him help. That is the law today. In those days, it was not. Okay? Provide him help. If it continues, the district and the good, respectable members of the community can decide. It was a strong Catholic community. They believed that their teachers should be good, moral people, outstanding members of the community, and they wouldn't tolerate that. They wouldn't tolerate that. Does it make sense? Yes?
I don't know how to ask this question, but between teachers, if you hear somebody else talking about their sexual orientation and you disagree or agree, is it allowed? Is that allowed?
You can certainly voice your opinion, but that's not going to get them terminated.
Okay.
It will if you spread it to her and she spreads it to him and he spreads it to her and we begin to spread it all around the school and then we tell parents, and you know how I am, I tell everybody, and and so it's not long until it really gets things going. Really gets things going. So, yeah, but just for you, the individual, to have a personal belief, that's your personal belief. And it's important to have that, your values and your personal beliefs. But that doesn't necessarily get a person terminated. Yes?
You could probably get yourself terminated for doing that though. for
Yes.
workplace.
There's laws in which there's other cases in the state of Texas. There's one in Kansas in which a male was, what's the word? Prostituting himself, is that a good word? To a book salesman in the workroom. And he was terminated. Okay? You can't do that. Is that what you're kind of talking about? Your behavior, your sexual behavior,
No.
pushing your.
That's not what I was
What are you
talking
talking
about.
about?
If you were to spread information
Oh,
about someone, you could get
Yeah,
yourself.
especially if it's misinformation.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because somebody could say you're harassing them or
Yeah.
bullying them in the workplace.
Good point of rule is, don't get engaged and don't spread,
Don't gossip.
yeah, that's right, gossip rumors, yeah. It's easy too. It's easy to do so. Dr. Cortez and I never do that, do we, Dr. Cortez? Not unless we get a chance. We can't wait to get out of this room. No, that's a very, very valid point, and be smart. Okay, be smart. All right, can my school compute?
I'm sorry.
Carolyn.
Is there, I'm not sure what the term is, but I think it applies to just a whole range of things that, as you pointed out, Georgetown can be different than East Texas.
Sure.
So even though you have one law going across it, it seems like local school districts have something, local option, local choice, what do you call it?
Yeah, local option, local choice, yeah. The decisions are made at the local level. Not all decisions, for example, we have a state mandated curriculum.
Okay,
Districts cannot say at the local level, we're not accepting the state mandated curriculum. It is the law. But, and districts have to accept this as the law. Now, how they address it is up to the local citizens. The local citizens may say, well, that is the law, but we're not going to pursue it. This is ridiculous. Nobody's hurting anybody, but it is the law. The law is the law. Does that make sense? If I drove in from the west side down I-10 doing 85, was I breaking the law? There was very few, yes, I was. There was little traffic on the freeway this morning, me doing 85. Who am I hurting? Maybe me, okay? So, you know, you can play, but is it against the law? Yes. Did I hurt anybody? No. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is, it's what?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's against the law. It's against the law. Does that make sense? You
and
gotta know the
no
law.
policeman saw you.
Now, if a policeman saw me, there's another incident, yeah, I definitely get caught. I'm held accountable. I'm held accountable, yeah, absolutely. By the way, I was not doing 85, coming down the freeway. 95, but not 80, no. Can my computer and the internet and internet access activity, anything I'm doing on the computer, can it be monitored by the school system?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Remember, it doesn't belong to you. It doesn't belong to you. Be careful, be smart. Be careful what you put in your file cabinet or in your drawer. Had a student in the graduate program that came to me one evening after class, and she said to me, I'm subbing currently at such and such school here locally. And she said, I was looking for the referrals because a student was acting up in class. So I went over to the teacher's file cabinet, looking through the file cabinet, and found a drawer that had some, what she described as pornography, okay, in it. What shall I do? She asked me. And I told her, one, did it offend you? And she said, yes, it did. And she said, even worse than that, I think it's sad that that's in a school. And I said, then you report that. She said, the administrator is good buddies with the person that has this in the file cabinet. And I said, well, go around the administrator. Go to Central. go to the district level and report. And she did, and that individual found himself in serious trouble. So be smart. Be smart. Don't do stupid things. Make sense? All right. Students' privacy rights. Will I violate my students' rights by examining their educational record? Yes or no?
No, not just by examining, you would have to tell somebody about that
Right.
record.
No, you have the legitimate, if you have the legitimate interest of a student in mind, you can examine the records. Whether it be in your class or someone else's class or even a different grade level, but there's got to be a legitimate interest. Okay? Now let me go back. You had a question.
No, just real quick, when you're working in a school district, do you need to follow like chain of command? Like the
It's very
workplace?
important to follow
Because
chain
right
of
now you
command.
said, well,
Went around.
You go around and go up to your boss's boss,
Yeah.
but do you follow like the chain of command?
It's very, very important. And I told her, what you need to do is report this to the principal. And she said, I do not feel comfortable because I know that the principal and this other individual are my buddies. I said, then, in that instance, you will go around. But I say that, and I did that. I actually encourage that. But I really encourage you to teach as a teacher and maybe as a future leader. Follow a chain of command. It's just very important to do that. All right. Can a student be expected to shave, remove earrings, dress according to a dress code? Yes? Raise your hand. No. Here's the answer. Absolutely. Texas Education Code does not give students nor parents the right to decide what is appropriate attire and or grooming at school. All right? Do you know what law this relates to and what school system? This came from El Paso Independent School District and from Coronado High School in 1972. It's still on the books. It's still on the books. I'm trying to think of the young man's name. It slipped my mind. Anyway, his parents were, I assume they may still be alive. They're probably in their 80s. They were in their 70s, late 70s at the time. Because one of the students in my law class actually went and visited with them about the case. I can't think of his name, dadgummit. But anyway, maybe it'll come to me. If it does, I'll tell you. But he was expelled from school because he would not cut his hair. Had long hair. So it went to court. It went all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States. And that individual was found to, or that became the law that became the law in the books, and it's still in existence today. And he had long hair. This is how long it was in 1972. Not very long, was it? But in those days, that was considered long hair, okay? Now today, does EPISD really address shaving and earrings and things of that nature, length of hair? Probably not that much, probably not that much. When I became a teacher in the district, okay, and this was about 200 years ago, when I first became a teacher, we had to be clean shaven. Had to be clean shaven. We were not allowed to have mustache, beard, long hair. Again, all that's changed with time.
Well,
But you
kids'
can.
schools and
Make
all?
males remove their earrings. Can you make males? Well, you can't make me. I'm a male, and if you're going to make me remove my earring, you got to make every female remove hers. Can you?
Yeah, you could.
Absolutely. And quite often, this is done with males in terms of what?
Gangs.
Gangs.
Gangs, possibly. Safety also. Males are more apt to get in fights and get that jerked out of their ear. Okay? Even at elementary school level. Okay? All right. What's FERPA? FERPA is the following. If I can get it up here. Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. It stipulates that a parent has the right to access their child's educational records. Even if the parent does not have custody rights of the child, that parent can still access the child's educational records unless there's a court order in place and on campus. So that's the reason you may see when some parent comes up and wants to get something relative to a child or check a child out, here's what's happening in the office. People are digging through the files trying to find that court order. Is there a court order? There's a court order, and we can't find one, we're calling the other parent. We're finding out before we release this child or before we release information related to the child, all right? By the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, any parent can access right to their child's records unless the court has stipulated otherwise. Does that make sense?
What happens if, in the case that there is a court order and it wasn't found?
And then you just simply say, we can't share this information with you, we cannot release this. It happens all the time. As principal,
What's the penalty if information is divulged?
that can be the loss of your certificate, absolutely. Or maybe even more. Okay, student search and seizure. This is real important because we all work with students. Can a student be searched at school? Yes.
Oh,
Depends.
No.
Depends on probable cause.
Okay, here we go. However, probable reasonable cause comes into place. Probable reasonable cause comes into place. You see what's in my pocket here? What's in my pocket here?
A cell phone or a wallet.
or a taser gun.
Could it be something else? Doesn't it look like something in
A tape
particular?
recorder.
I'm a student, I have this in my pocket. What is
Cigarette.
this? Cigarettes. You have reasonable, what? Cause to believe that I have cigarettes here. And you can ask me, you can search me, you gotta be careful there, that's very intrusive, but you can ask me to remove that and provide that. And so I do. I remove this package of cigarettes because you believe it's a package of cigarettes because guess what? You've caught me before doing what? Smoking in the boys' room, or girls' room, or
There's
all
a
rooms, or
difference
whatever.
between probable and reasonable.
Same thing.
Is it the same weight?
Okay, so I've got cigarettes here, right? So you make me remove them, pull them out, and I do. Do I have cigarettes? You're in serious trouble, aren't you? No, you're not. Tell them why.
You had reasonable cause
You had reasonable belief
from prior.
that it looked like, and you had actually done this offense previously, and so there's reasonable cause to believe that this was a package of cigarettes in my pocket. Okay? That makes sense? So you have a lot of leeway, but you have to be careful with that leeway in terms of search and seizure. That seizure, you seized it, you asked the student to remove it. You're okay in terms of asking for that, because you had reasonable cause to think it was a package of cigarettes. Can a student be strip searched? Yes. Take all your clothes off.
No.
No. Here's the answer. Yes,
By a-
but I would never do it. I would never do it. You're really doing something stupid if you do that. Get the police officer to do it, or get a parent to do it. But don't do it. Don't do it. That's just asking for trouble. Now, have I seen little elementary school kiddos? Have I seen their underwear pulled down? Yes, I have. Have I asked the nurse to pull it down? Have I actually pulled it down? Yes, I have. But it was associated with what?
Abuse.
Abuse. Not some sort of perversion, okay? Can a drug dog sniff search a student?
No.
Yes.
No.
No.
New law.
Here we go. Maybe, but then again, I wouldn't do it. It's not. And I hear new law. Is that
New
what-
law.
And what's the new law?
Cannot to get dogs to sniff out students
Not
for
to
drugs.
them, because it's too invasive. It's too invasive. Sniffer dogs can search desks, backpacks, lockers, and classrooms. Can they search classrooms with students present?
No.
No.
Have to be-
They have to be
no.
outside.
Everyone has to leave the class.
Yes, they can, but I wouldn't do that either. Now, there was a time years ago when I was a teacher, that was a great act. Watch that dog come in. I'd ask them, come on in. They'd bring the dog in, and they would have marijuana in the plastic baggie. And so that showcased the intelligence of these dogs, German Shepherds, et cetera, whatever kind of dog it was, and they'd come in. And so we'd tell the kids, okay, this is junior high. Tell the junior high kids, close your eyes. And the guy would place the marijuana somewhere and have the dog at the front, and then turn the dog loose, and the dog would find it. And guess what the dog's reward was? Dogs are smart, but they can be so dumb. The throwing of a ball to it. The dog would get all excited. That was the reward for finding the marijuana. You can't, it's not that you can't, but I would not encourage you to do that under no circumstances in this day and age. So typically, if rooms are searched, they take the kids out. How many of you have been a part of a setting where the room is searched and students have been removed? Yeah, they get the kids out. Again, we're getting too close to this business. The dog sniffing a student. Very invasive, very invasive. The other reason, and I stopped doing it, let me tell you why I stopped doing it as a teacher. This is years ago, 150 years ago, okay? Because the first time this happened, I said, oh boy, never again. One of the little girls, junior high girls, was deathly afraid of dogs. She started screaming bloody murder. She came out of her desk, up into her chair, standing on her chair, screaming. And I stopped that. That's another reason you don't bring dogs into a classroom. There are people, male and females, that are afraid of dogs. Make sense? All right.